Hello and welcome to episode 60 of the This Is The Music Meets podcast. On today's episode, I'm delighted to be joined by Gary, the frontman of London band Maze. Over the course of the podcast, we're going to talk about Maze's new BSide, the Seaside album, the band's forthcoming live dates, Millwall FC, and much more. So Gary, welcome along to the This Is The Music Meets podcast. How are you doing today?
Oh, mate, how you doing? Yeah, I'm doing very well, thank you, mate. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Can't complain. Obviously, typical Brit. Happy now that the sun's shining and looks like we're getting some warmer weather coming up. So, yeah, all good here. Thank you very much.
It's about time. It's been rain. It all just seems to be raining non-stop at the moment, isn't it? I mean, the last week or so.
It has been for a while, but let's fingers crossed now that that's going to be the end. Warmer times to come and that. So obviously, kind of like the last time that I saw you actually was outside the Water Rats at the Shed Project gig in February, and you'd done an acoustic gig that day at HMV, I think it was. So kind of like how was that gig for you, the HMV gig?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience because I know it sounds crazy, but like we were saying about like you think about Oasis, Virgin back in 90s,
Yeah,
97
yeah.
and that, and you always figured, I always compare it to that. I know it sounds silly, but but it was a great experience because people were coming in with their kids and stuff. You know what I mean? So it was like a different vibe of different crowd. It was like a bit of fun. You had some kids dancing in front of us.
Great.
It was a nice, it was nice atmosphere. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, definitely, and I guess as well, it's obviously a little bit different to like a usual Maze gig as well, because obviously we said it was like an acoustic gig.
yeah.
How did you? Is that sort of like the first time that you've ever done that? 'Cause obviously, it was still a full band show. I think I'm right in saying, but how was the sort of acoustic side of it compared to plugging the amps in and turning them right up to the max?
I mean, it's actually nice because I mean, being a singer, I think you sometimes when you do acoustic, you sometimes like again as a singer, it's like I don't know, you get more harmonies. You know what I mean? So it can sound a
Yeah,
bit, just let it flow and stuff. So it's probably only the second time we've done a gig like that. The last time was last summer when we supported Dino from the Rifles. He'd done an acoustic gig in Covent Garden, so we supported him then. But yeah, I always quite enjoy the acoustic gig because again, it's nice sort of harmonised with
yeah,
with the vocals and that, rather than obviously you love going for it, but when you actually get just to sing, like
yeah.
it's a nice, yeah, it's a nice chilled sort of thing.
Yeah, sure. Oh, okay. So obviously, this year's been very busy. I think it's fair to say for Maze. So first of all, let's talk about the release that came out. I think it was 2 Fridays ago now, wasn't it? The new
Yeah.
album, Beside the Seaside. For those that haven't heard it yet, it's effectively a collection of acoustic tracks. There's a few demos in there, and kind of like a couple of obviously B-sides as well. So kind of like then what was the thinking and like the thought process in releasing this type of album?
Well, I mean, we've got so many songs to be fair, and with Scott writes as well as Paul. But the
Yeah.
other Paul, who's only joined the band 6-7 months ago, he's brought songs to the table as well, and it literally is songs that you know you got so many. Letters to London was sort of, we already had the structure for Letters to London anyway, the 5 songs. So these other songs are like, well, why don't we just get these out there anyway? You know what I mean? So because we're working on a new album now, it's a case of there's no rush for the new album, but you
Yeah.
can sort of keep in people's minds as well. So, and again, it's with Paul and Scott also writing as well as the main Paul.
Yeah.
I call him, one's Bass and one's Hancock, but Bass's the main man. Hancock with you know. So they got a chance for Scott and Hancock to have a go and put their songs on and and get their songs out there as well. Not saying they're not good enough for the album, because obviously Scott's got one of his songs on Letters from London, and both of them have got new songs for the new album as well. But it was a case of we can get them at if we can get them out there now, and they're decent songs as well. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, definitely. And the album title, obviously I get the B-side bit, but obviously kind of like a bit of a clever play there with the wording, with obviously beside the seaside. So where did you get the rest of it from? Because obviously you guys are, you know, as I know, you're obviously from South London, and apart from the River Thames, there's not much in the way of water or sea around those parts.
Yeah, well, with this rain lately, there's been a lot of water lately, believe me. But I think, I mean, I personally, I think the photos were done when we was at the Shine weekend of last year. You know, down Taunton way. So
Yeah.
obviously that was right by the beach, and I think Paul took them photos down there. So obviously on the beach. So you know, and also Basham's a massive Ocean Colour Scene fan, so I think it's a bit of a reference to
Right.
Ocean Colour Scene as
Yeah.
well. So yeah, well, actually, Bassam and Hancock are massive Ocean Colour Scene fans.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a bit of a reference there as well, I think. So
Yeah. Oh, great. Well, I like that. So, and obviously Ocean Colour Scene. What a great band that they have been, and obviously still are, to be fair. But yeah. And obviously in February this year, and we've come very well prepared on today's show. Obviously, you released the Letters from London EP as well, which is available across all streaming platforms, and I think you've still got some copies available to sell as well, like this. We'll obviously put the links in the episode bio as well for that. But just kind of like then, obviously since it's been released, it's had over 55,000 streams across Spotify. I mean, hearing numbers like that and the response in general that you've had like across social media, I mean, you must be absolutely buzzing with that sort of, you know, with them sort of numbers.
I can't, you know, I can't have, there's no words really, you know, absolutely over the moon. You know, we work our asses off, you know what I mean? And, you know, but we're such a grateful band. We're, you know, I've always said anyone I've ever spoken to in music, I'm so grateful for any words that everyone's ever said to us and shared, or, you know, we always try and engage people all the time. If someone writes a comment, we'll reply to that comment on social media. You know, I just feel, I mean, I personally feel the hard work sort of paying off when you're getting numbers like that. You know what I mean? So, obviously, I think the songs are amazing as well. 'Cause I love the songs, but
Yeah.
you know, I think, I think the way the 5 songs sort of work together as well, they flowed. You know, you started with a nice gentle one, nice gentle lay into to the EP, and then when it comes to, you know, we've seen them always like a sort of like, you know, a bit more in your face, sort of punchy, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, I mean, you know, then you got Letters from London, the actual song itself, to me, which I absolutely love. It's a nice kind of different. It's a different vibe, total different vibe. But it's strange, it's a different vibe. But again, all 5 songs seem to have this sort of flow, I think, and they just sort of seem to go. So we've had a nice, you know, feedback from the EP. To be fair.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as you've just said there as well, I think it is quite important to have that flow as well, you know, because it keeps people sort of like, I guess, interest, you know, especially like in this day and age where I think people, you know, want everything instantly. So I think to sort of keep people, you know, keep listening and interested in it, I think is really important. And obviously and clearly obviously is it's obviously something that May's agree with as well, because clearly that's obviously what you've done. And obviously it's a great, well, as you say, it's a fantastic EP, and you know, long may those you know, those figures, you know, continue to grow and you know, shine a real light on you guys. And obviously as well on that EP, obviously you've already mentioned him, Dean Mumford from the Rifles. He was obviously on the Step Too Soon, like one of the, and it was also a lead single as well from that. So kind of like then, how did that come about working with Dean? I mean, was it from a conversation? You obviously mentioned an acoustic gig that you did with him. How did that how that the relationship develop?
Well, get him drunk, and then it helps.
Oh no, we all know he loves a drink, Dean, doesn't he?
Yeah, get him drunk, and it helps. No, I mean, I've been good mates with Dino for a couple of years. I don't know if you know, there's a pub in Covent Garden called the Marquez, which is Tommy McGuinness who runs it. You got to go to this pub. It's a proper music hub. People, you know, and people seem to go there for, you know, for the environment, for the music. There's all, you know, you go in and there's all photos on the wall of all bands, not unsigned bands. These really, you know, and because it's become a bit of a hub now, people, you know, people meet up there.
Yeah.
I sort of really got to know Dino just through going to this pub, sort of thing. So yeah, literally just talking to him about it, and then obviously we're just saying, look, Dino, we're massive Rifle fans. You know, for us it'd be amazing if you come into the song. And he so we at the start we said to him, just can you put some keys down? And then 3 weeks later he comes back with 22 hours worth of recording with strings. He done guitar. He done
Wow.
backing. He literally, and that's when he'd actually done another version of the song. So on the actual CD of Step Too Soon, the B-side is his version of Step Too Soon, which it's fantastic. You know what I mean? So we couldn't. Obviously, we were so grateful to him, and he was brilliant. He's actually going to come in on the album as well. He's doing a song on the album, which he's actually working on in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, he's just he's a lovely fella, and he supports unsigned bands. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I've come across him a couple of times, at various gigs and stuff, and he's hats off to him. He doesn't know me, but he'll always say hello and whatever. And I think and he's like that with everybody. I think he's a real up and at 'em, type of person. And to hear what you were saying there, that he's how much time he's put into helping you guys out. I think he's obviously it's amazing. Hats off to him, man.
Yeah, yeah. As you say, he's such a nice fella. He's like us, he's sort of humble. There's no better way of there's no better feeling than someone comes up to you and saying I love your song, or or you're in a band. Is you can't beat that. And I think obviously Dino with his level, he's just he's so humble about it. So he's a lovely fella, a lovely fella.
Yeah, definitely, and kind of like you sort of touched on it a little bit earlier on when regarding sort of like the writing of the tracks, across what you've released so far. But kind of like then is when it comes to actually recording the songs, is it very much a case of like either Paul or Scott, whoever's written it, kind of like, well, we've got this song, this is how it's going to sound, you're going to play this, you're going to do that. Or is it very much a case of to the other band members, right, I have got this song, but go ahead and put your own stamp, your individual mark on it? Kind of like how does it work?
Well, I mean, what you just said, the last bit is what Maze is all about. And that's actually like, well, we always said the name. When people say, where'd you get the name from? That's why we call it Maze, because we don't know how the song's going to come out at the end. Literally, yeah, we don't, yeah, it's really, we've always, we was even thinking of getting t-shirts done saying, come and get lost in the maze. You know what I mean? So,
Brilliant.
I've
Love
got to
that.
get these t-shirts done. I've got to get these t-shirts. But anyway, no, it's we, Paul or Scott, they what they do. Obviously, we're on a WhatsApp group, and the demos will go on the WhatsApp group or something like that. And because a lot of them, most of them have got the software at home, Logic and that, or most of it anyway, or like that garage bands, all that. They probably do like probably the drum beats and the guitar and even do their own bass. But it'd be like, this is the song. This is I've written the song. This is how it sounds like. But when it comes to the bass bit, Ben they just delete the bass off, and Ben will come up with his own bass line.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron goes into the studio because he's drums. He has to go into a separate studio by himself, and he'd do his own thing. And yeah, so that's what I love about this band is the freedom for the songs. No one's ever come and said, no one's ever even Bassam's the main writer, and I've never heard him once say, no, can you play like this? Can you play like that?
Yeah.
It's literally that's your department. Come up.
Yeah, crack on. Yeah.
Crack on sort of thing. And some of the songs, like on the Chaos Interrupted, we got a song called Groundhog Day. If you heard it from the beginning, it's nothing like the way it came out at the end. At the beginning, it was more acoustically, and at the end, it came out like a northern soul beat with like a on the Resurrection sort of sounds. You know what I mean? Drum beat in it. So, yeah, but basically, it's just like that. It's just there's so much freedom in the band. That's why we got three. I mean, we've got three songwriters now. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
it literally is. Whatever's best for the song. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, sure. And then and kind of like as well the recording process as well. Is it quite quick? You're not sort of having a major debate about how it sounds? I guess you guys just you get the feel for it. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think the feel for it is definitely fair to say. You know, we got. I suppose because of our influences and the way we sound anyway, it's always going to be that kind of in that kind of bubble. So it's not going to it's not going to be a completely different like sound to the other songs and that. But yeah, it's more it's yeah, you get the feel of it because we all the lads would do their bits and send it to Paul Bassam, and he can actually put it together, and then he sends it back. He then puts it on the WhatsApp group to all of us, and then it's like and then Ben and the bass player might say, actually, I might want to do a bit of bass again, or to the chorus it doesn't sound right, or or someone else. So obviously we do change things, but as you say, once you get the feel of it, we just let it flow. So.
Sure. Okay. So also as well, then, sort of this might be putting you on the spot a little bit, and it is, to be fair, it's probably quite a difficult question. But for you personally, what are your top 3 Maze songs?
Oh, oh, all right. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I'm going to say the first one comes to mind. In my mind, simply because that was the very first song that came out when I didn't. It came out. We had that lockdown period.
Yeah.
We actually, we became a band in lockdown with the WhatsApp group and just putting demos on and that. And in my mind, special to me simply because it was the first song we ever brought out. Coming for You, I think, which is the first song on Chaos Interrupted, and probably. Oh God, this is a tough one. This is a very tough one. I mean, Groundhog Day, I actually wrote the song. It's the only song I've ever wrote.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to say We've Seen Them All on the Letters from London. I think I think we kind of went a bit more punchy and a bit more punky to a certain degree. And it was, I think it was a bit more kind of in your face, so to speak, and, if you don't listen to the song like me, if I don't listen to the song for a while and then it comes on me shuffle, I'm like, this
is all right. This,
yeah. Start walking into people like Richard Ashcroft, you know what I mean? even though being 2 foot tall, I end up flying, but
So we're just gonna just momentarily just pause from talking about music for a bit here. We're going to talk a little bit about football. Obviously, I know that you are, as we said in the introduction, that you're obviously a Millwall supporter. I understand you're a season ticket holder as well. But you're obviously having a fantastic season. Obviously, currently 5th in the league, obviously right in the playoffs. With after 39 games, you've got about seven games or so to go. I mean, you must be absolutely delighted with how the season's gone. And I mean, has that exceeded expectations this year?
Well, I think every year. I mean, we've been in the championship for like 5 years, and every year, if you look at the betting, the favourite, we always favour either favourites to go down or to be around the bottom every year. But every year we've not finished below 10th or 11th. You know what I mean? So I think we've just got better and better. But I mean, no one, I didn't. I suppose that especially the last month or so, I've always expecting us to run out of steam, so to speak. Having the smallest, probably having one of the smallest squads. But I mean, the point on Saturday at West Brom away was absolutely. I mean, they're just outside the playoffs, so that that was that. I mean, that was if he beat that was to me that was the game. That was getting a point at West Brom because the other teams are playing each other all up there. So we've now got a 4-point gap.
Yeah.
Luton on Friday now, which is obviously you beat Luton. I mean, it's just absolutely, guys. I think if we beat Luton, I think I can say I think we'll make the playoffs. I really do. Yeah, and it's the first time I've said that actually. So yeah.
There you go. And supporting Millwall, was you born into supporting them, or they just happen to be like your local team? And how did that come about?
I mean, you ask any Millwall fan, it's you've got no choice. Your dad, your granddad, your goldfish. You know what I mean? Your pet dog. It is a family. It is a big family, which I absolutely love. Everyone says we're different. We are different. I think. You know what I mean? But no, my dad was from the Old Kent Road,
Yeah,
and so it's born and
yeah,
bred. I mean, my brother's Millwall, and these two young kids they got season tickets as well. So it's
yeah,
a big family thing, really.
yeah, sure. And obviously with it being, within a great opportunity of obviously getting into the playoffs, looking at how it is currently, is the club, is the squad strong enough, do you think, maybe to compete in the Premier League, or would it need a lot of investment to get up to that standard, to compete next season?
It's a weird question because I've never even thought about it. You know what I mean? But I and the strange thing is, if you do talk about getting up to the Premiership now, like we do, like before gaming, in the pubs and that, it literally is one season in the Premiership will probably set Millwall for so many years to come with the money,
Yeah,
and I'll be happy with that, as a business, you know what I mean? We're always running at a bit of a loss. We're well run compared to some of the other clubs. Our chairman's absolutely fantastic, and we are a well run club, I think, compared. But if you go in the Premiership, the money you make in that season, and if you was to get relegated, you get about £90 million in parachute money. So,
yeah,
I could not see us going up there and then doing like a Fulham or Aston Villa where you sign about 25,000 players in the summer. You know what I mean? And spending, we can never do that. We couldn't do that anyway. You know what I mean? So, obviously we'll have to invest, but I couldn't see it being a major change. We've got some brilliant youngsters coming through. I mean, as far as I know, the under-18s and the under-21s they're either top of the league or second in the league. So, we've got some really good kids coming through. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
there's always been the foundation of Millwall has always been the youth kids coming through. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, definitely, yeah,
I couldn't. If you go out, I couldn't see us. I don't think we could spend loads of money and stuff. Obviously, we can't. So, I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, it'd be hard. Of course, it will. Absolutely, it'd be absolutely tough. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
you know,
No, definitely. I think as well what you're just saying there as well about like developing the like the youth team and the kids and stuff. It's a shame actually that more teams don't put a little bit more emphasis on that side of things. You've already spent millions potentially on it, and it's just a bit of a shame that
we've. I mean, apparently we in the last this season alone, I think we made about £5 million through one kid going from he's now I don't know who he was. He went from Man City to Southampton about 3 months ago. Apparently, we had him as a 14-year-old or something.
Yes,
I can't remember his name. I really can't tell you his name. And I think another player went from I don't know if he went from Liverpool to someone else. And because of the things we've made about £4 million through kids that we had 7-8 years ago. So so it's always there's not. I think there's Millwall got to look at things. Millwall got to look at things like that. You know what I mean, for the extra income and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the Southampton player that you're referring to played against my mob yesterday, and I can't remember his name either. But he was the guy. I know exactly who you're talking about. He was very, very impressive yesterday, and
okay.
I think that's definitely great for the teams that are teams have got to do that, develop their own players. I think, and great that you've got a little windfall bonus. As well out of it, and obviously, even as a West Ham fan, good luck for the rest of the season, and hopefully we won't be passing each other or anything like that as you're going up, and we might be going down. So,
well, it's one of those. We always say that it's typical if we do go up, and Palace and West Ham get relegated. I wouldn't want to go up.
Well, I think the authorities might be quite happy. I think West Ham and Millwall in the at Stratford would be a recipe for disaster, I think, if that was to happen. So, but anyway, that's enough about past histories between West Ham and Millwall fans. So obviously, as you know, here at This Is the Music, we like to shine a light on bands like Maze that are on the unsigned and sort of underground, sort of indie scene type of thing. So kind of like over the past 12 months or so, what bands or solo artists that are on the grassroots type of thing that have you been listening to and have caught your eye?
I say the Shed Project, the lads. I heard the new single that came out, I think the same day as our Letters from London back in February.
Yeah.
That, you know, and obviously they played, didn't they? And obviously that's where I met you.
Yeah.
The Chase, a band called The Chase.
Yeah.
I mean, the song The Trumpet was such. I'm actually in the video of The Trumpet. Yeah, as well.
Yes,
So,
that was in the Marquez, wasn't it?
in the
Yeah.
Marquez, yeah. So, um, I mean, we became friends with a band called Marcus Drive.
Yeah.
When we first started a year and a half, and Eddie, the guitarist, he's also a sort of producer. They're actually recording a new album at the moment, so they're a fantastic band. And then obviously when we got that gig in Sheffield, so I was starting to, you know, the last month or so, I started to look at what we're playing. You know, I've always sort of listened to the chords, you know,
Yeah.
that's actually been probably since Christmas when I a couple of their songs. You know, the Trampoline. Obviously, I'm a Libertines fan, and they support Libertines, didn't they? And
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I once I like major fan. I listen to like loads of stuff, but there's always like, you know, you hear about these bands and you'll check out a few songs, and you know, the Skylights as well.
Yeah.
I spoke to one of the lads on Twitter as well, and you know, and they're doing so well for themselves. And that last song that came out was, you know, it's really good. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah. Rebecca.
yeah. So instead of like actually, I suppose like knowing loads of their songs, it's more like loads of different bands and listen to, you know, the song, a single that come out, and you know, that kind of thing. And I went to see the Skinner Brothers a few months ago. I met his dad a couple of times. He actually worked in a pub near Millwall, so I sort of knew
Yeah.
him through New Crossway. So he's a nice, you know, he's a nice fella. So you know, so I started listening to a couple of Skinner Brothers sort of songs. So yeah, there's, you know, Skinner Brothers, The Chase, The Claws, you know, the ratings.
Yeah.
Listen, I
Fine.
actually listen to the album as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's
Yeah.
Marcus Drive. You know, there's the good thing is a lot of good bands about, isn't it? There's you know, I mean, there's probably loads more I can mention. You know what I mean? But it's so good. I mean, can you imagine if it was the 90s? It'd be like, you know, when there was all big, massive. It's brilliant, wasn't it? It'd be brilliant.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, as you say, I mean, there are so many about at the minute, but the ones that you've mentioned there, fantastic. And here at This Is the Music, we're big fans of all of them, and it's great as well to see, you know, that they're getting, you know, that they are getting name checked
Yeah.
as well by other bands. It's great to see. So coming back then onto Maze, you've obviously got a lot of fantastic gigs lined up this year. We're going to sort of reel off a couple of them here for now. So we've got you've got Priory Live in August, where you're going to be on the same bill as Top Loader and Dodgy. Obviously, and also you just mentioned the festival in Sheffield, the Be Right Festival, where you've got Andrew Cushion, Apollo Junction, The Claws, my mate Sam. Yeah, my mate San Quentin are on it. The Chase, you mentioned obviously Trampoline as well. I mean, kind of like, I mean, what's it like being included? You know, obviously you've got some real up and coming bands. You know, some are obviously making a big name for themselves at the minute. But also as well a couple of you know, legends as well with the Britpop scene as well. And you know,
Yeah.
what's the feeling like to be included with those type of bands?
Well, I mean, it's I think the Sheffield one to me is like a reward for the hard work that we put in for the last year and a half, and you know, you're now going to be on the bill with Trampoline and the Chase and Cushion. And I say, you know, they're the bands I think at the moment you want to be with. They're the ones that, you know, are making so much noise and doing so well for themselves. You know what I mean? And then, as you say, the kind of Britpop era bands, Dodgy, and that Dodgy and Top Loader gig at the Priory Festival, they've not even announced the headliner yet, so that's going to be announced in 2 weeks' time. So you're thinking that could be another, you know.
Wow!
I mean,
right. Oh,
yeah,
okay. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually got on the poster, headliner to be arranged. So you know, there's rumours it'd be Blue Tones or Space or something like that. So that's another big band. You know, either way, it's going to be up there with Top Loader and Dodgy. You know what I mean? So, but to me, the Trevor one is the one that I'm proud of because of the bands that are doing so well for themselves at the moment, and you know, we're now going to be mixing with them lot. You know, and you think if you mix with them, then people that like them hopefully will like, you know, will check you out, so to speak.
Yeah.
You know, so you know, so we've got the best of both worlds at the moment with the, you know, the bands that influenced you from 20 odd years ago to playing with the bands that are doing really well for themselves now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, great stuff. And obviously, as well, we've mentioned Top Loader there. You're going to be supporting them as well, aren't you? In Cambridge Junction as well. And I believe that's going to be like your biggest like indoor gig to date. I mean, again, I mean, how did that come about? So getting to support them.
Yeah, well, the promoter at the Cambridge Junction, because we supported Toya Wilcox about a year and a half ago. So
Yeah.
we kind of got friends of the promoter anyway. And then they actually had Marcus Drive there 2 or 3 months ago, and we supported them at the Cambridge Junction. So we've been there twice now, so we've got a good rapport with the promoters at the Cambridge Junction. And he already said that you played there twice, and you could tell you're starting to get a bit of a following from Cambridge.
Mm.
Like a little a little fan base growing. So they offered us to support Top Loader, and as you say, support Top Loader at a big venue like that with Marcus Drive is it's probably one of our biggest sort of indoor ones today, I think. Anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. And obviously, sort of a little bit closer to home. You're obviously playing the very famous venue, Dublin Castle, in September, which I'm personally looking forward to coming along to. It's the first time I'm going to actually get to see you live. So for people like myself that haven't seen you live yet, what can they expect?
I say a roller coaster. We have this. I like to think we can take people up and down. You got this, this upbeat sort of rock, dance, jump up and down numbers, and then you get your lighters out for a sing song. I like, we try to have this kind of different tempo in the set where, you can take people up and down on the journey. You know what I mean? So, and obviously we like to rock out at the end and get people up and down on their feet and stuff. But yeah, I think I'd say with us that you get to go on some sort of like a roller coaster ride of going up. You feel going up and down sort of on the emotions.
Yeah,
So,
sure. It sounds like it's going to be a fantastic night. Obviously, unfortunately for people listening, that gig has sold out. But as I say, I'm sure it's going to be a great night. And obviously also as well, what other plans are there for 2023 for Maze? What have you got in the pipeline?
well, I can't say too much, but we just confirmed another gig in Birmingham, literally about 2 hours ago, in September as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to say that, to be fair. But so the new album, got underway in the last week or so. I think the drummers laid drums down on 4 different tracks already. I've done vocals to 2 songs, and people have done, and the other lads have done bits. One of the songs is almost completely done already. The album, I think, that's like 6 new songs working on right now, and I reckon they'll be done in the next month or so, and then we're not quite sure of a release date. We was thinking about September, but we don't want to rush it with the thing. So, just keep on just doing what we're doing now. Talking to people. We're actually on a bit of a break at the moment because Scott had a baby about 4 or 5 weeks ago, but even in the break, we're doing podcast interviews. We're still posting things. Some of the lads have done little videos, just little acoustic videos. So I think it's just keep them doing what we're doing, talking to people. Going to see other bands play to get to know them and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So album release, new gigs. Just keep on try and do what we're doing. Really, you know what I mean? So.
Brilliant stuff. Well, it sounds like you've got a very, very busy few months ahead with festivals and obviously that album number 2 as well in the works. But unfortunately, that is Gary, the end of the This Is the Music Meets Maze podcast. Thanks very much for coming on. It's been a real pleasure getting to know you a little bit more, and obviously the band as well. And obviously that album, BSide the Seaside, as we mentioned earlier, is available across all streaming and download platforms, and we're going to include the links to that in the episode bio. But Gary, just before I do let you go, can you just let the listeners know exactly what other social media platforms Maze are on so they can give you a little follow?
Yeah, we're on Facebook, Instagram. Instagram is the same as Twitter, which is Maze Music UK Act. Again, that's Insta and Twitter. We're on Facebook. I think Hancock's even set up what's it called, a TikTok page, which I ain't got a clue about TikTok myself. But you know, yeah. So yeah, so I think you name it, we're on it. You know what I mean? So you know.
And we'll also include those links as well in the episode bio. Maybe Gary might even find out what the TikTok handle is as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just see TikTok as like your little niece dancing around, you know. So I just, yeah, I don't know.
I know
But, yeah, good
exactly how
luck.
you feel. And look, Gary, as I say, thanks very much for coming on. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a great laugh, as I say, a great insight into Maze and everything that you've got coming up. Thanks again. And I'll see you.
Can I just say thank you to you, mate, and all the, you know, not just you, radio stations, all the podcasts. If it wasn't for you, bands like us would never be able to sort of get out of there. So we really appreciate the help. Like I said earlier, we appreciate any help that we get from anyone. So thank you for that. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolute pleasure, and thank you very much. I mean, I enjoy doing it. That's why I do it. So and it's great to see bands getting noticed and all of that sort of stuff. And as I say, I will see you in September at the Dublin Castle. Can't wait. Really looking forward to it. I'm sure it's going to be a great night. So yeah, until then, mate, I will see you then.
Cheers. Thank you, mate. Cheers.
And all that leaves me to say is to thank everyone who has listened to the latest This Is The Music Meets podcast. Please subscribe so you never miss out on any brand new episodes. And if you are loving the podcast, it would be great if you could show us some love by giving us a 5-star rating and written review, as it really does help the artists that we interview to be discovered. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you again very soon.